While wardrobe malfunctions happen to famous people all the time, few are as highly publicized as Janet Jackson's during the 2004 Super Bowl halftime show. Sadly, that honest mistake cost the singer much more than a flawless performance. Most musicians who sing at the Super Bowl halftime show see a nice bump in attention and record sales after the gig. However, the reaction to pop legend Janet Jackson's performance in 2004 was not so beneficial to her career. The backlash to the incident of Justin Timberlake exposing her breast on stage and live TV hit her hard in both the short and long term. Of course, it wasn't supposed to go like that. The plan was that the move would only show her red bustier, but the idea was quickly hatched, and according to Esquire, it was never even rehearsed.
You immediately covered your breast because you didn't want to be exposed. If you'd wanted to be exposed, you wouldn't have covered it.
Exactly.
The incident did not please CBS CEO Les Moonves, who ordered Janet and Justin to give him a formal, in-person apology. Timberlake agreed and reportedly did as he was asked, but Jackson did not. Meanwhile, a racist and misogynistic America was stomping mad that a black woman forced it to see her pierced nipple for a split second, and people and institutions responded with hysterical overreactions. Radio stations refused to play her new album. Her appearance at the Grammy Awards a week after the show was held hostage from her by Moonves, who said she and Timberlake could only perform if they apologized on air. Once again, Jackson refused, and so he blocked her from appearing. Sadly, that night at the Super Bowl would go on to negatively affect Jackson's career for years to come, even after the general public lost interest and moved on. While Justin Timberlake received very little flack for the wardrobe malfunction incident, IndieWire reports that Jackson was stigmatized from that moment on. Timberlake has gone on to win several Grammys since 2004, but Jackson's Grammy wins stopped in 2001, though she released albums in 2004, 2006, 2008, and 2015. Her 2015 album, Unbreakable, did make it to #1 for 1 week on the Billboard chart, but the album Jackson released in 2004, Damita Jo, was her worst-selling record since 1984. Clear Channel also banned all of her videos and hit songs from being played on their myriad TV and radio stations in the aftermath. However, Timberlake continued to make chart-topping albums and singles and even played the Super Bowl halftime show again in 2018. He also became a favorite guest on Saturday Night Live, where some of his sketches became cultural sensations. Although she didn't feel like she had anything to be sorry for, Jackson had to organize a whole tour just to apologize for the incident. The public did not easily welcome her words, and many decided they were not enough to absolve her of her sin against the country's puritanical ideals. A biopic of her life that was in the works at the time was unfortunately canceled, and she had to deal with being the focal point of a congressional debate about indecency on TV. Ironically, Moonves and many of the other men who judged her or determined the fate of her career were later accused of sexual harassment when the Me Too movement took off. Moonves resigned over the accusations against him in 2018. Janet Jackson received what could be viewed as a consolation prize by the music industry when she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2019, but that honor could not bring back all the opportunities she unjustly lost as a result of that fateful night in 2004. In 2022, Jackson produced the documentary Janet Jackson so that she could tell her own story. In it, she said that she essentially green-lighted Timberlake to keep his head down about the situation. She explained that the two spoke as the media storm was raging, and Timberlake expressed that he was unsure whether or not he should speak out.
I said, listen, I don't want any drama for you. They're aiming all of this at me. So I said, if I were you, I wouldn't say anything.
He took that suggestion to heart. At the 2004 Grammys, where both he and Jackson were slated to perform, Timberlake sang, danced, and won 2 Grammys while Jackson was barred. He used his acceptance speech to apologize without taking any real responsibility, saying, "I know it's been a rough week on everybody. What occurred was unintentional, completely regrettable, and I apologize if you guys are offended." In 2021, however, Timberlake apologized directly to Jackson on Instagram, saying, "I understand that I fell short in these moments, and in many others, and benefited from a system that condones misogyny and racism.